how in the world do professional speakers get paid so much? To answer that question, I'm going to react to a story told by Ed Mylett. He's a professional speaker, author, and business person. In the clip, you'll hear him say he's told this story numerous times over the years, and I'm assuming he means while giving presentations. The reason I'm breaking down this particular story is that it's excellent. It's really inspirational. But the added educational benefit is that by watching professional level speakers tell a great story like this, we can become better storytellers ourselves. We will watch and enjoy the whole thing together all the way through, and then I'll offer some observations, and I'll explain why it works so well.
I know what it's like to come from a place growing up of anxiety and worry and fear, and I spent a lot of my life as an insecure person, not a lot of self-confidence. And through the tools I'm going to help you with today and some of the stories I'll tell you, I think I'm an example that you can turn those things around in your life if you're just willing to grow, willing to dream, and most importantly, maybe your heart's in the right place where you want to serve and help other people. For me, just so you know a little bit about my story, I didn't really realize that till I was probably in my early 20s. I was a pretty good athlete. I played high school and then college baseball on a scholarship. I was destined to go play professional sports, and for whatever reason that didn't work out. And I found myself in my early 20s back at home living at my parents' house, unemployed. That's where my business career to hundreds of millions of dollars started for me. Believe it or not, it started in my little bedroom I grew up in. Same posters on the wall, same teddy bear on the bed, eating out of my mom and dad's refrigerator with no job. And I've always said that everything in our lives happens for us and not to us, even the most difficult things. And ironically, my dad was an alcoholic when I was growing up. And believe it or not, that happened for me and not to me. Even the hardest things in your life, someday when you get on the other side and you win, you're going to find out that was all part of God's plan. That was all there to help you, not necessarily hurt you long term. It happened for you and not to you. And so for me, my dad had just gotten sober. I was unemployed, living at his house. My dad's one of those man's men, like, hey, brother, you need to get back up and go to work. And I was sort of looking for a job, but not really. And maybe this surprises you to, when you see my social media or my podcasts and stuff, I seem to really have my act together. Remember, that's the after. The before is I'm unemployed on my mom and dad's couch, sleeping in the same bed I grew up in. My dad comes home from his first AA meeting to get sober. First meeting. Comes home after me. I said, Dad, how was the meeting? He goes, we're getting sober. And he goes, and I got you a job. I said, you got me a job? What is it? As if I had a lot of options. He goes, you don't have any options. I don't know what it is, but you show up in San Dimas tomorrow morning at McKinley Home for Boys. I said, I don't know what that is. He goes, I don't know either, but it's $6 an hour. That shows you how old I am. And show up there in the morning. Get up early. So sure enough, I go, all right. I get up, I walk in there. And what I had found out was that this was an orphanage, basically an orphanage. It was a giant campus of group homes, like hundreds of boys. And all these little boys were wards of the court. Most of the boys there their parents were dead, incarcerated, or had molested them. These precious little boys. And here I am, kind of this cocky former athlete, and I walk into Cottage 8. Sorry, I've told this story many times, and for some reason today I'm more emotional than usual about it. I walked into Cottage 8, and it changed my life. There were 12 boys there that day. My boys were all 8 to 10 years old. And right when I walked in that morning, they were all getting ready for school. I got chills all over right now. All the boys stopped and looked at me, like, who's the new guy? And I saw all these little eyes looking at me. And I recognized those eyes because I have similar eyes. I have this theory that any child that grew up in some real dysfunction, drug addiction, alcoholism, abuse, divorce, stress and yelling in a house, our eyes are just different. We just want people to love us. And these boys had my eyes. And my life changed because instantly my life had to become about serving these boys. You know what these boys wanted in their life? Remember this, lesson number 1 to write down. You know what my boys really wanted? Somebody to love them, care about them, believe in them, and show them how to live better. That's what they wanted. The greatest mentors in my life loved me, cared about me, believed in me, and showed me how to make a better life. And so my life changed. I was their father, their big brother. I took them to school every day. I was there when they'd open their present on Christmas. I was there when they bring home their grades from school. I did homework with them. I put them to bed at night. And it changed my life because for once in my life, I found out, man, I love helping people. I love making a difference in people's lives. I love it. And I would have never left there except I couldn't have my own family living there. In business, I've spent my entire business career from the premise of serving other people. My own needs second. Loving, caring, believing, and showing people how to live a better life in every single way. That's what I do on my Instagram, my social media, my podcast, my YouTube, all the company I'm involved with. And that's what I recommend you do. I learned my greatest business lessons at McKinley Home for Boys. 8, 9, and 10-year-old boys changed my life. I found out, man, I love helping people more than I like being important. I loved making a difference in their lives.
Oh, this is a powerful story, and here's why it works so well. First, Ed Mylett is a living example of his message. This is by far the main quality that separates the highest level professional speakers from the rest of the crowd. He even explains directly that his story shows that he's an example of that you can turn those things around in your life.
I think I'm an example that you can turn those things around in your life if you're just willing to grow.
Most of the elite professional speakers are living examples of their message. You can mix in other people's stories here and there, but there's an old expression for writers, write what you know. And the same goes for public speaking. Stick to what you know best. Look for the stories that demonstrate that you are a living example of your message. Second, he uses the classic storytelling structure, beginning, middle, and end, and then there's a moral to the story. The structure or story arc is what makes it sound like a story instead of just a bulleted list of facts about his life. If you want to get better at storytelling, use this framework, and here's how he does it. At the beginning, he explains that he was in his 20s and he had a problem. He was brokenhearted from not becoming a pro athlete. He had no direction, no job, no purpose.
It started in my little bedroom I grew up in. Same posters on the wall, same teddy bear on the bed, eating out of my mom and dad's refrigerator with no job.
In the middle of the story, he found a possible solution when his dad helped him get a job.
Comes home after I said, Dad, how was me? He goes, we're getting sober. And he goes, and I got you a job.
And by the end, he gets the benefits. He has grown. He learned life lessons about himself by working with the boys.
And it changed my life because for once in my life, I found out, man, I love helping people.
Almost all of the great stories follow that structure, beginning, middle, and end. And he adds the moral to the story. That's the lesson learned where he says, I love helping people. I love making a difference in people's lives. And the bigger inspirational lesson, the real reason he's telling this story is to inspire us, his listeners, that you can change too. You can grow too. Third, his story transports us. We love to listen to stories instead of dry facts and figures because stories can take us anywhere. There's a concept called transportation. In addition to the story arc mentioned, he uses vivid language and details that transport us into the world of the story. He talks about the McKinley Home for Boys and walking into Cottage 8 and how there were 12 boys there that day looking at him.
There were 12 boys there that day. My boys were all 8 to 10 years old.
He doesn't speak in generalities. He's specific and detailed. I don't know about you, but I could picture the situation as he described it. He uses stories to transport us. And fourth, he has made a deliberate decision to cut out a lot. I know that because I watched this more than once and there were no tangents. Every sentence is in there for a reason. For example, at the beginning, he focused on some important details like his father's alcoholism.
And ironically, my dad was an alcoholic when I was growing up.
He included that because he knew that that detail would matter by the time he got to the end, like when he talked about looking at the eyes of those boys and being able to relate to their pain and abuse.
And I saw all these little eyes looking at me. And I recognized those eyes because I have similar eyes. I have this theory that any child that grew up in some real dysfunction, drug addiction, alcoholism, abuse, divorce, stress and yelling in a house, our eyes are just different. We just want people to love us.
Everything connected. And it takes discipline to make those hard choices about what to leave in and what to cut out. Fifth, let's talk about his vulnerability. He had to collect himself for a brief moment.
Sorry. I've told this story many times, and for some reason today I'm more emotional than usual about it.
And for me, this is one of the qualities that made it great. Authentic emotions can be powerful Whether our emotions are excitement, happiness, compassion, those emotions help a message travel from a listener's mind to their hearts. And we really remember here. He didn't talk about something that was so personal that it completely overwhelmed him. And when I speak in public, there are some parts of some stories I can't share because emotionally, I don't think I could get through it. But the lesson here is to be authentic and also decide on a level of vulnerability that you are comfortable with. So what did you think of the story? Now imagine an hour-long keynote speech that's packed with stories that are this good. That's why professional speakers get the big bucks, as they say. That's the kind of impact that storytelling can have for your presentations. So how could you use what we've learned from Mylett here for your own public speaking? And who are other speakers and communicators that I should react to? Put a comment on that below, and I'll also link to Mylett's original channel, his YouTube channel below. So thanks, God bless, and I will see you soon.